So we got an exciting year ahead of us. The year 2016 looks to be just jam-packed with incredible games from both Microsoft and Sony, as well as the possibility of Nintendo releasing their new console, the NX. Although I do believe that they will unveil the NX at E3, I don't think we'll see the console until 2017. Regardless, I wanted to go ahead and do my top 5 most anticipated games for 2016. Now, there's a lot of games that, haven't been confirmed for release, release dates. There are some coming out in 2016, that have release windows. So these are the games that I picked that for sure have concrete release dates or release windows and are for sure coming out in the year 2016. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Number 5, Final Fantasy 15. So if you can believe it, I actually put a Final Fantasy JRPG game in my most anticipated. Now, everyone who knows me knows that, I never really got into the Final Fantasy series. I played a little bit of Final Fantasy 13, but I never actually beat it. And Final Fantasy 13 was actually the first Final Fantasy game I played. I just had no interest in them prior to that. I wasn't into the whole JRPG scene. I wasn't into the turn-based combat. And what Final Fantasy 15 is, I look at it more as a reimagining of the series. We got an original cast here, which is pretty cool. And on top of that, we have this gorgeous, gorgeous open world, that really allows you to go anywhere and do anything. And of course, the biggest thing is the overhaul of the combat system. Now, I know a lot of hardcore Final Fantasy players are obviously, going to look at this and say, well, it's kind of ruining the essence of what Final Fantasy was. But, I just look at it as a pure evolution. And, if Square Enix's plan was to get more people, involved in the Final Fantasy series and make it have a wider reach, then I think they succeeded. It's getting people like myself who aren't even into JRPGs, who don't even care much about the Final Fantasy series in general, enough to play the game. And I did actually get the episode Duske demo. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it was interesting, and I'm actually really looking forward to the game. It's one of my most anticipated games next year. So we're supposedly going to have the release window, I believe, is summer of 2016. I think it's going to be sometime after E3. They're going to probably show it off and then, finally release it. And I'm really, really looking forward to it. The only downside is that I wish there was a PC version just because the game looks so gorgeous. And to be able to play it in 1080p or actually 4K in my situation at 60 frames per second would just be the most incredible thing ever. But it still looks great on the PlayStation 4, and they're optimizing it, and supposedly they're trying to smoothen out the frame rate, and they're trying to upscale the resolution to 1080p as well, which would be great. So Final Fantasy 15, looking forward to it, and hope it's as good as it seems. Number 4, Quantum Break. I have been looking forward to Quantum Break for quite a long time. Ever since, to be honest, it was announced with the Xbox One. Quantum Break just looks to be a really interesting game. It's made by Remedy, and usually with Remedy games, that they take their time and they put out quality products. The original Max Payne was a really, really good game. The original Alan Wake as well was just a really interesting game. And Quantum Break looks to be fantastic, looks to have really fast-paced, really good cover-based shooting mechanics, third-person shooting mechanics, as well as this manipulation with time. You can slow down time, you can use these time powers to kind of glitch halfway across the map and then, attack enemies from behind. It really opens the scene and the arena up for combat and just makes it a very, very dynamic experience. I'm really excited for this story. In addition, that Quantum Break is going to have a TV show or TV episodes really that will intertwine with your decisions in the game. Apparently, when you get to a certain point in the game, your decisions will impact a episode from some TV show. And when you get to the certain point, you'll be able to watch that episode from the show, or if you want to watch it later, depending on what you want. And those choices would affect your overall, decisions, or your choices will affect what overall happens in the actual Quantum Break narrative, which is pretty exciting. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be fantastic, hopefully, and I can really count on Remedy games, and it's an Xbox One exclusive, so definitely looking forward to it. Cannot wait for it to release. Number 3, Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. So, I absolutely love the Uncharted series. In fact, the original Uncharted, Drake's Fortune, was why I wanted a PS3 in the first place. And so Uncharted 4, everything that we've been hearing about this game has just been bang on right. For one, we've had a long development cycle. I didn't want Uncharted 4 to be released, 2 or 3 years after the events of after the release of Uncharted 3, just because Uncharted 4 needed to have that same impact that Uncharted 2 did. And, there's a lot of people who just want, just, oh, give me more, but they don't really have respect for good writing. And so I really commend Naughty Dog for, saying, no, this is the final Uncharted game in the Nathan Drake series. And this is what's kind of really upsetting me at the moment. There was an article recently that said, that Naughty Dog actually said it, and I quote, they said, an Uncharted 5 will be completely up to Sony, but Nathan Drake won't star in it. And I really hope that at the same time that kind of scares me, because I really hope Sony as a publisher doesn't try to say, well, Uncharted is a great franchise for financial purposes, so let's just put more out there, and it kind of sucks because every single I feel like, and this is what really killed Hollywood and the whole movie industry, is that every single thing has to be milked to death, and nothing can die peacefully. And sure, some things you can keep, putting out, but give us time. Don't try and milk it to death like Activision is doing with Call of Duty, where we get one every single year, or Ubisoft did with Assassin's Creed, or a lot of these games just come out, every single year or very quickly, and so it's not really like you're excited for them because you already know what to expect. And in addition to that, it gets to a point where so many games in the series come out that the quality of the actual series starts to diminish, which is what happened with the Assassin's Creed series and the Call of Duty series. It's very inconsistent to get a quality game that was on par with the previous games in the series back before, when it wasn't, an annual franchise. There are a lot of people still to this day, like myself, who believe that Assassin's Creed 2 is the best Assassin's Creed game that they ever made. And they still have not been able to create a character as likable or lovable as Ezio, or a game as really as enjoyable and fun and interesting as Assassin's Creed 2's world. And they certainly tried, and sure, the worlds get bigger, and the graphics get more beautiful, and you can do a lot more within the game itself, but it starts to lose its flair and starts to lose its personality and everything that made it really great. And so I really hope with Uncharted 4 that we get a definitive ending. It looks that way. We're going to get a definitive ending to the Uncharted series. And to be honest with you, you don't have an Uncharted game without Nathan Drake. And I don't think people would be open to an Uncharted 5 without Nathan Drake in it. I mean, he just is the series. No one wants a Halo game, like a Halo game in the main Halo series, without Master Chief. People just wouldn't accept that. And no one would want a I don't know, take any franchise. It's like making a Metal Gear game without Solid Snake. It's just these characters are created with the series, and they're synonymous with that franchise. It's one of the reasons why I'm really confused as to why BioWare is making a Mass Effect game without Commander Shepard, because Commander Shepard was Mass Effect. You couldn't have one or the other. The two of them, the character and the series, just perfectly unified to create this incredible experience. And it's just gonna really, it's interesting, because a lot of people just look at the dollar sign, and that's kind of like why publishers kind of ruin a lot of things, is they just look at the dollar sign, but there's no artistic respect in there. It's just, how can we make more money? How can we make more money? And yes, it's a business, and that's their main purpose, to make a profit. But I think a lot of developers, if they had complete creative freedom, we wouldn't see countless sequels. We wouldn't see, game franchises that play it safe. But unfortunately, that's the world that we live in. It's one of my main goals in my lifetime to save this video game industry, and that's what I want to work towards, is really protecting this video game industry from the same fate that Hollywood pretty much is in right now, where all we see in terms of movies are reboots, sequels, prequels, or just franchises that we've known for so long. I mean, we're still getting more Fast and Furious movies. Yeah, I enjoyed watching Fast and Furious, but like seriously, we're on the 9th movie coming up right now. It's ridiculous. There's gonna be more Hunger Games films. Why? Why is there going to be more Hunger Games? There's just going to be prequels to the previous Hunger Game movies. It's like, why do we need more? And this is the state that Hollywood is in. It's all about dollar signs and profits, and all we get is sequels and prequels and reboots. And it's not okay. We very rarely do we get original premises. And when these directors come to these publishers and they say, I have an original idea, they sit there and say, well, what's the return? Like, how do we have any confidence that we're going to make a good return with the money that we invest? And that's a fair point. So I really hope that Uncharted 4 really ends the series and it's the last Uncharted game that we'll ever see. Naughty Dog apparently does have creative freedom over what they do. They can make any game that they want, but Sony overall is, of course, the big decision maker in all this. And I really hope that they look at this and say, you know what, listen, Uncharted series had a great run. Every single Uncharted game that came out was good, if not great. And we're just going to leave it at that. It was a great franchise. I always ask people this. Would you rather have 4 great games and all those games are fantastic, or would you rather have 9 games, 5 of them are really good, the other 4 are pieces of shit? It's like, if you have any respect for the games that you play, you're probably gonna choose what I said before, that you want all the great games, of course, as anyone would choose. So hopefully Uncharted 4 ends it on a high note. We'll get a great game, a great end to the Nathan Drake series, and then that's it. That's all we'll see for Uncharted, and Naughty Dog can move on with a new franchise, or if they want to continue The Last of Us, whatever they want to do. I hope that they really get a good definitive ending, and we just leave it at that. So Uncharted 4 is my number 3 most anticipated game. Cannot wait for it. I have the Libertalia Collector's Edition pre-ordered, so big unboxing for that when that happens, and gonna be exciting. Number 2, Deus Ex: Mankind Divided. Everyone who knows me knows that I absolutely fell in love with Deus Ex Human Revolution. Deus Ex Human Revolution was a big surprise for me. It was the first Deus Ex that I played, and I was expecting, I wasn't really planning to get the game on release, which was the funny part, is that what really compelled me to get it on release was just, seeing the stealth mechanics. And when I got the game for the first time and I played through it the first time, I did an actual full playthrough on YouTube back when I was using my camcorder. It was crappy quality, but that was the first time I ever played the game. And it was so enjoyable, and I really, really loved the game. You had a great narrative in there, the stealth mechanics were amazing, and I understand that, a lot of people who are into the action part weren't as satisfied with the game. In fact, one of my best friends actually played the game, and he couldn't beat it. He said, listen, I like to shoot people. That's just the way I like to play. I'm more of an action guy. I don't find stealth that entertaining. And this game's shooting mechanics are shitty. And I said, you know what? I completely agree with you. I think it's a great game, but I love stealth, and that's why I think it's a great game. But I agree with him. Yeah, the shooting mechanics in, Deus Ex Human Revolution was a piece of crap, basically, unless you had like a mouse and keyboard where you can get pinpoint accurate shots, and it looked really good. But I'm super excited for Mankind Divided because, they acknowledged that. If you actually listen to the developers in some of their videos, they said, listen, we know that the combat pillar was not up to par with the stealth one, so we put a lot of effort into the combat of this game, and the stealth part is just going to be a natural evolution. It's going to feel just as great as the first game did, if not better. And I'm absolutely looking that made me feel so good. And even my best friend, who I just mentioned, didn't enjoy the previous game because of its low combat. It's horrible combat. He said to himself, yeah, I'm really looking forward to the sequel just because, they said that, and they're going to put, a lot of effort into it. So it's pretty freaking awesome. I cannot wait for Mankind Divided. It's one of my most anticipated games ever, I swear. It's been awesome because 5 years it's been since Human Revolution. I got a freaking poster up here on my wall. It looks badass. And I can't wait to play it on my computer, max settings and everything. It's going to look absolutely gorgeous. So Cannot wait for Deus Ex Mankind Divided. We're going to have a great story in there that's going to continue. Adam Jensen is back, a really cool protagonist. We got a brand new engine. Actually, the developers made their own engine for this sequel, which is pretty awesome. So the graphics in Human Revolution were probably the biggest downside of it. It had a cool art direction, right? The art was amazing. It's just that the actual graphics were really lacking. But this time we're going to get, a much more realistic portrayal. And once again, for some reason, I think the cutscenes in Mankind Divided look worse than the actual in-game. I don't know what's with this developer. It's like their cutscenes, which you think are going to look much better, they don't look as good as what the actual in-game footage looks like. So, I mean, that's just my opinion, but I'm really looking forward to it regardless. Cannot wait to play it when it comes out in August. It's going to be fantastic. So, yeah, looking forward to Mankind Divided. Number 1, Mirror's Edge Catalyst. Surprise! I mean, really? What did you expect? Everyone knew that this was going to be number 1. That wasn't even the thing. So I'm not even going to go into too much detail about why this is my number 1, because you guys know why this is my number 1. A huge fan of Mirror's Edge. I absolutely loved the game, and I played it. I played it countless times. I probably put, I would say, over 200 hours in the original game. Like, that's how many times I played the game. Still to this day, here we are in 2016, still to this day, I will go back and boot up Mirror's Edge on my computer, and I'll go play through a few levels, and then that's it. Just for like an hour or less or so. And I just do that because it's still to this day one of the most original games ever made. You had an incredible art direction. You had gameplay that just it was so brand new, and it was like that game was in every sense the definition of what a next-gen game should be. It wasn't just about, oh, look how much bigger the world is, or look how much prettier the game looks. It was about, look how much more we can do. We can give you a completely new gameplay concept because of the next generation of gaming consoles. And I cannot wait for Catalyst. Every single thing that we've heard about this game is just, again, been spot on. We've had an open world, we got a more advanced, more easier, and just more fluid combat system, better parkour mechanics with more animations and stuff like that, a stronger storyline, and that was the weakest part about Mirror's Edge, because the original Mirror's Edge had a shitty story. Let's be honest with ourselves. The original Mirror's Edge had a really shitty story. It was cliche, it was short, it was just, there was nothing... There was predictable. There's nothing about that story that really set itself apart or tried to. And it was a really lackluster story. And so I have more confidence in the story this time around because it's being done in-house. Versus in the original Mirror's Edge, they actually hired the same girl who did the story for the Tomb Raider reboot. It was the same girl, and she did the story for the original Mirror's Edge. But thankfully, they're doing the story in-house now, and the same guy who's writing the story for the game is also doing the comics Mirror's Edge Exordium. I have yet to actually get my hands on the comics. I need to hurry up and actually buy them because I do want to read them before the game releases. But I cannot wait, for Catalyst as all as you know. And I know a lot of you guys who are watching this are in the same boat as me. I mean, even if it's not your number 1 most anticipated game, it has to be in your top 5. There is no other game that has come close to even matching this game's quality. You can say, all right, well, Dying Light was like the nearest game that came out with parkour mechanics and stuff like that. But still, I felt like Dying Light's parkour mechanics, although good, were not as fluid or didn't even reach the quality standard that the original Mirror's Edge did in 2008. So, Catalyst is looking to be a fantastic game. I got the collector's edition pre-ordered. I got this freaking signed lithograph that you guys saw the unboxing for. I got the... I'm gonna get the comics. I got all this crap. I got everything, man. I got freaking everything. So I'm all ready. Brand new computer. I'm gonna freaking tear this game up. It's gonna run so well. I'm just really looking forward to it. It's gonna be freaking awesome. So, all right, that Mirror's Edge Catalyst, obviously my most anticipated game. Been waiting 7.5 years. It will be when it comes out for this game. Can you imagine 7.5 years? I'm right. I'm almost right with you guys who really want a Half-Life 3. We've almost been waiting that long. You guys have been waiting longer, but at least I'm just gonna leave it at that. All right, but I'm really looking forward to this, and I know that most of you guys who are watching this are too. Thanks. All right, everybody, those are my top 5 most anticipated games of 2016. I cannot wait to play all of those games that I just detailed, and those are my reasons why. So this brings the conclusion to my Video Game Awards. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I know it was on a much smaller scale, but I've been reading your comments as these videos have been going up. And to be honest, a lot of them are positive. You guys are really liking the new format for the Video Game Awards, and it's pretty much going to stick this way for the foreseeable future. My plan is also to make the Video Game Awards come out in December versus January like we are now. Just because, we're already into the new year. It's already 2016, and yeah, I'm kind of late when doing this, and there's still games that I missed to play, but I'm going to try and make that change this coming year. I'm going to try and try and put more time into my games, but also at the same time, make sure that I enjoy them and whatnot and things like that. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this format for the VGAs. Hoped it was awesome, and here's to a really game-filled and hopefully amazing gaming year of 2016. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you later.